Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? What we're going to be talking about right now are something that was brought to my attention, okay? And I'm going to show it to you, and then we're going to discuss it, okay? So you see this post here? It says the Jalisco they're not just flooding the streets, it's flooding cyberspace, okay? And here in America, we have to be vigilant and we have to be aware of this, okay? New reports reveal they are recruiting AI experts, coders, and crypto specialists to run scams, mine coins, build encrypted apps, and even infiltrate the Mexican government systems. Okay. One military report shows CJNG tried hacking the national oil company and security agencies with phishing, malware, and brute force attacks thousands of times a day. They are also using TikTok to glamorize this life and recruit teens with hashtags, cash, and Kalashnikovs. Cartels aren't just adapting, they're upgrading. Okay, so now let's talk about it. So, this, like, they are the CJNG, okay, is indeed evolving into like this sophisticated cyber criminal enterprise. And they're leveraging technology to expand its reach and its revenue streams. So I'm going to give you a breakdown on their cyber activities based on recent reports. Okay. So they are actively hiring AI specialists, coders, and cryptocurrency experts to bolster its operations. These professionals are tasked with developing encrypted communication systems, mining crypto, and executing complex scams. And this shift reflects a broader trend among cartels to integrate advanced technology, moving beyond traditional trafficking to cybercrime. So, the Mexican military sources have reported that CJNG has attempted to infiltrate critical infrastructure, including the Secretariat of Security and Citizen Protection, the National Intelligence Center, and Pemex. Their methods include phishing, malware deployment, and vulnerability scams, with thousands of daily attacks recorded. Despite the efforts, Mexico's Secretariat of National Defense claims that no significant breaches due to robust IT updates. But CJNG is heavily involved in crypto laundering, with 98% of Mexico's high-value crypto transactions in 2020 flagged in Jalisco. That's their stronghold. And they use Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to clean their substance money, okay, exploiting lightly regulated digital spaces. Additionally, their timeshare fraud network targeting elderly Americans, okay, so this is why I need you guys to pay attention. So, and they have scammed over $288 million in recent years, often through call centers using high-pressure tactics. And platforms like TikTok, they're being weaponized to glamorize this type of life, targeting low-income teens ranging from ages 14 to 24, with promises of cash and luxury and arms. So CJNG, they use hashtags and curated content to lure in recruits, often for roles like substance lab, cooks, drivers, that type of thing. They've also exploited online gaming platforms like Call of Duty, Roadblocks, to connect with potential recruits discreetly. So this cartel, the pivot to cyberspace mirrors tactics by global cyber criminals, blending traditional organized crime with digital sophistication. They're used in encrypted apps like WhatsApp for coordination and propaganda, further complicates law enforcement efforts. And the DEA note that CJNG's digital reach extends to nearly 50 countries, amplifying their influence. So this technological upgrade makes CJNG harder to combat, as they exploit both the anonymity of the internet and the vulnerabilities of underregulated systems. However, their reliance on coerced labor, like forced tech recruits, call center workers, shows a grim human cost, with reports of violence against those who resist. So the Mexican government's response, while it is improving, is still struggling with corruption and resource gaps. And U.S. sanctions and international cooperation, like Interpol's tracking of CJNG's AI-driven scams, aim to disrupt these networks, but the cartel's adaptability keeps them like a step ahead. This isn't just a crime wave. Okay, it's a digital insurgency. So you're probably asking, well, is it here in America, not just abroad? Yes. The Jalisco, the CJNG has a significant presence here in the United States, including in cyberspace and on the ground. Okay, so here's how their activities manifest in America. They are one of the most powerful that are operating here in the U.S., distributing massive quantities of substances. The DEA's 2024 National Drug Threat Assessment notes that CJNG's dominance in the U.S. Substance markets, with operations in nearly every single state, particularly California, Texas, New York, and Illinois. They use sophisticated smuggling routes, including tunnels, drones, and commercial shipping, to flood cities with substances. Okay. So their cyber operations directly target Americans. Their timeshare fraud scheme, centered in Puerto Vallarta and other Jalisco hubs, has defrauded U.S. citizens, often the elderly and the retirees, of over $288 million in recent years. Victims are contacted via call centers or phishing emails, pressured into fake investments or property deals. Additionally, they launder substance profits through U.S.-based crypto exchanges, exploiting weak regulations to move millions of dollars. And they also use platforms, like I said, like TikTok, but also Instagram, and even gaming networks, okay, Xbox, PlayStation, to recruit in the U.S., targeting vulnerable youth with promises of money and status. Okay, so if you've got teenagers that are constantly, ding, ding, ding on the PlayStation or the Xbox, pay attention to what the hell they're listening to. Okay, because you don't know who they're talking to or what they're listening to. Okay. So while recruitment is more pronounced in Mexico, U.S. teens in border states or urban areas with these kind of ties are also at risk. And their social media propaganda, including narco rap videos and glamorizing the imagery, is circulating widely in American online spaces. So they also collaborate with U.S. street gangs and local dealers to distribute their substances, often fueling violence in cities like LA and Chicago and Atlanta. And they have been linked to violent incidences, including the taking of lives and turf wars, as they expand their reach. So their use of encrypted apps to coordinate with U.S. operatives makes tracking their activities extremely challenging. So the U.S. has prioritized dismantling their networks, with the DEA offering $10 million reward for the capture of the leader. His name is Nemesio, and that's Nemesio. Osguero, Oseguera Cervantes, Cervantes. Okay, he also goes by the name like AKA El Mencho. So recent operations like the 2022 arrest of the US based operatives shows progress, but their adaptability, especially in cyberspace, it complicates the efforts like on so many different levels. And the Treasury's Department has also sanctioned the CJNG linked businesses and crypto wallets to disrupt their financial flows. So their presence in America is both physical and digital, blending street level crime with sophisticated cyber tactics. And their ability to operate across borders and exploit technology makes them a growing threat on U.S. soil. Okay? Hang on just a minute. So, if you're asking why does this persist, okay? Why is it going on? Cartels thrive in areas with poverty and limited opportunities, okay? In Mexico, where 40% of the population lives below the poverty line, CJNG exploits desperation, recruiting vulnerable youth and coercive labor. So the U.S. has high demand for substances, which is $150 billion annually per DEA estimates, fuels their profits, while crypto and scams provide new revenue streams. Corruption in Mexico's government and law enforcement undermines the efforts. They have infiltrated local police and even federal agencies, as seen in their cyber attacks on government systems. Weak judicial systems often fail to prosecute high-level operatives, allowing impunity. CJNG's use of AI, encrypted apps, and social media makes them harder to track. And their cyber crimes like timeshare fraud and crypto laundering exploit global financial systems with minimal oversight, and the adaptability outpaces many law enforcement strategies, regardless of what the agencies and the law enforcement does. They can't keep up. So CJNG operates in nearly 50 countries, like I said, per Interpol, with U.S. operations deeply embedded in drug markets and cyber scams. Even when the leaders are arrested, it doesn't matter. They decentralized structure allows it to regroup quickly and boom, keep going. Okay. So is there anything that could possibly stop it? There's no single solution that ever could exist. Okay. But progress hinges on coordinated, multifaceted strategies. Targeting their money laundering, especially the crypto transactions, could choke their resources. The U.S. Treasury sanctions on CJNG linked accounts and businesses are a start, but global crypto regulation lags. Enhanced tracking of illicit financial flows could starve their operations. But Mexico needs systematic anti-corruption reforms, including vetting law enforcement and judiciary. International support like U.S.-Mexico joint task forces has led to arrests, but sustained pressure is key. Building trust in institutions could reduce their local influence, but when you're addressing U.S. Substance consumption through prevention, treatment, and decriminalization of minor offenses, this could shrink the cartel profits. Now, when it comes to fent and the rise of it, this is linked to 70% of the U.S. OD. Okay, and according to the CDC for 2023, it shows demand drives supply. All right. Education campaigns targeting youth could also counter the recruitment on social media, but kids, they know everything. You can't tell them anything more, right? But law enforcement must watch the digital sophistication and the AI driven analytics, like those used by Interpol to track cybercrime. It can identify the cartel networks. Social media platforms face pressure to curb narco content, though enforcement is inconsistent. So, public private partnerships could close tech gaps. Investing in economic opportunities in cartel strongholds like Jalisco could reduce recruitment. Programs offering job training or education for at risk youth have shown promise in pilot projects but need scale. Breaking the cycle of poverty weakens cartel grip. Now, cartels like CJNG, they're not going to vanish, okay? At least anytime soon. So, historical examples, okay, like Colombia's Medellin cartel, show that dismantling major organizations, it takes decades. Even with aggression and aggressive action. Think Pablo Escobar, okay? CJNG's global reach and tech savvy make it even tougher. Incremental progress, disrupting key leaders, seizing assets, curbing specific crimes like timeshare fraud, could weaken them over 10 to 20 years. But that's a long ass time. But only with sustained effort across all borders. Now, while the situation feels overwhelming, there are wins. U.S. and Mexican operations have seized billions of cartel assets since 2018. And CJNG's failed hacks on government systems show defensive improvements. Community programs in Mexico and U.S. border cities have started to divert youth from the influence of cartels. And the fight is daunting, but it's not hopeless. Pressure on multiple fronts can erode their power over time. But that's the thing. It's over time. Decades time. So, that's all I've got so far for this video, okay? I will see you guys in the next one. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping. And as always, fearless. Ciao.